Hey everybody, I'm Chase Senior and he's Harrison Graham. You're watching Any Given Thursday by Chat Sports. We go live every single Thursday at 5 o'clock Eastern, 2 o'clock Pacific.
The video you're about to watch first aired on that show this past Thursday, so sit back and enjoy, and if you like what you see, join us every Thursday on Chat Sports. Our preseason headlines continue with the Boston Celtics. Harrison Graham and Chase Senior here on Any Given Thursday. You can watch us live on our main Chat Sports YouTube channel every single Thursday, 5 o'clock Eastern, 2 o'clock Pacific. Chase, you've cooked up a few storylines now that the preseason is underway for the Boston Celtics, so I'll let you take it away here. What's cooking in Boston?
I know it's really early in the preseason, right? But Juan Hernangomez started for the Boston Celtics in their preseason opener, and I take stock in that because outside of Hernangomez, the starting five looked as though it's going to be what it's going to be. Jason Tatum had started. Jaylen Brown did as well. Marcus Smart was your starting point guard, and Robert Williams played at the 5 coming off that big contract extension. So is Juan Hernangomez going to start in place of a Josh Richardson, maybe even a Dennis Schroeder? That's what Ime Udoka experimented with, and that's what he's been doing early on in this preseason. Now, he's a big man who can shoot. He can stretch the floor. His numbers have really varied early in his NBA career. At times, he's been a pretty good three-point shooter in stretches, but he's been very, very inconsistent, and that could be a problem throughout the course of an 82-game regular season schedule. So I'm keeping my eyes on that development if Hernangomez is going to start, because that would come as a big surprise for me. Who's going to play point guard? Marcus Smart, as I just mentioned, started that preseason game. So it looks as though Ime Udoka is going to go with Marcus Smart as the starting point guard, not Peyton Pritchard and not Dennis Schroeder. And this is an unorganic approach because Marcus Smart is not an organic option at the point guard spot. He's never really been a true point guard in his career. He's come in off the bench. He has been a spot starter and a consistent starter at times, depending on the season. We know about his defense. His offense is very erratic because he can be so up and down there. How will he handle an important position of playing point guard? We know he has the leadership skills to do so, but he's never really mastered or played that role as a true point. So I want to see what Marcus Smart can bring to the table. Is he going to be willing to pass up some of those shots that he has taken in the past to let Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown really be the go-to players in that offense? And can he be that guy who has and displays really good court vision? Again, we know about his leadership. We know about his defensive intangibles. His offensive game has the propensity to be all over the place, but that's something that I'm curious about with Marcus Smart going into this season. It looks as though he is going to be the starting point guard for Boston. And lastly, this is Ime Udoka's first camp, first season, first preseason as the head coach after he got hired. And I thought he said something interesting the other day where he has made it a point of emphasis to tell his team, do not bark or argue with the officials. I don't want to be one of those teams. And we see this all across the NBA of players just going after officials. And it does get old from a viewer's standpoint because it's like, what are you complaining about? Because it gets to a point where you're just complaining about every single call. There's a bigger picture here of him setting a foundation, him building a culture that last year with Boston was fractured under Brad Stevens. So not only am I looking out for how Ime Udoka is going to handle his first year as the head coach of this organization, but already in the preseason, he's putting his foot down and saying, you know what, I am not to be messed with. Our culture in the locker room was a problem last year. The way that we played and carried ourselves on the floor was a little bit of an issue, and maybe that's a big reason why we finished 500 last year. Let's play a little over-under now. Sports gambling is legal all across America, so let's do it. Over under 50 wins for the Celtics this year. Last year, they were 36-36 in that 72-game COVID-shortened season. How do you think the Celtics fare in an 82-game regular season slate? Over under 50 wins? Let me know in the comments section down below. H. Graham, what do you think about some of these storylines with Boston?
The point guard thing's very interesting because it appears they're going to give Marcus Smart at least an extended stretch here, right, to see if he can be this team's point guard.
Yeah.
Quite frankly, he better be because they just gave him $77 million.
Right.
And, like, I like Marcus Smart, but I don't give a player $20 million a year to be, like, my dirty work man, right, where just a guy who, you know, getting the 50-50 balls and playing good defense, that's valuable. Is it $20 million a year, though? I don't really think so. He needs to be able to at least be a starting caliber point guard. Obviously, Udoka is going to have a lot of focus in his first year as the head coach. Brad Stevens' first year up in that front office. So, yeah, I think this is interesting. As long as you have Tatum and Brown healthy, you really just need the rest of that roster to fall into place. And I feel like last year, a lot of weird stuff happened. Tatum got COVID, and even when he came back, it took him a while to get right. It didn't seem like he was quite himself for a while. And so, yeah, I just think it's a tricky one. Obviously, Hernangomez starting is very interesting.
It is. Yeah.
Maybe they like
Again, it's the preseason, but every other starter played, and every other player played.
I'll be honest, I don't like Josh Richardson. He stunk for the Mavs last year.
He was bad.
I don't know about that fit. Maybe he's going to come off the bench, but we'll have to wait and see how that plays out. We'll ask you guys this question. Confidence level in Hernangomez starting for the Celtics. Chase, 60? I mean,
I was going to say
I think the problem with Boston is they don't have that fifth starter. Who's that fifth starter? You've got your two big guns, Marcus Smart. Pick a big, Robert Williams, I guess. Who's that fifth guy, though?
It could be Schroeder if you wanted to play
Schroeder,
him
you could go Jay Rich for defense, but, man, they got to figure that out. Are you going to play big or are you going to play small? Scale it from 1 to 100 and subscribe to our Celtics channel at youtube.com/CelticsTV. So the NBA preseason is ongoing. Harrison Graham and Chase Sr. here, and which means the NBA regular season is just around the corner. So we'll kind of get you guys caught up with some of the schedule, the dates, and storylines in the preseason here. Obviously, some games have already happened. All teams, I should say, play 4 exhibition games during the preseason before things get ramped up here in the later part of October. October 19th, there's a couple of games, and then all 30 NBA teams are in action by the 21st. But basketball, it's back in the preseason. The regular season is almost back. Chase, you ready, man? You ready for opening night?
I'm ready because I started here at Chat Sports on March 1, and I got to see what the NBA trade deadline was like, NBA playoffs, NBA free agency, the NBA draft, and I got to see firsthand how wide of an audience we have when it comes to the NBA. I'm ready to ramp up our coverage because I love talking hoops with the peeps.
So type me down in the comments if you're ready for opening night of the NBA. Get those me's down below. We've talked about this recently, the MVP odds, Chase. Anything change for you? You think these make sense? Luka plus 400, Steph plus 500, Giannis, Embiid, and LeBron, and several others at plus 1,200 as well. How do you feel about the latest Vegas odds when it comes to MVP?
Well, there's a scenario in which I could see every one of these guys winning MVP.
Sure.
Like if the Mavericks are a top 3 team and Luka averages 30 plus, I could see him winning the MVP. If Steph Curry has a season for an entire 82-game slate like he had after the All-Star break last year, in which he put forward one of the best offensive displays that we've ever seen, he could win MVP. If the Warriors are back with a healthy Klay Thompson, Giannis has a lot of momentum considering he's coming off that NBA Finals MVP, and he's already won a couple of league MVPs. And then if Joel Embiid really puts the team on his back during all of this Ben Simmons controversy and drama.
If he goes out and now averages like 31
I think he would have won last year if he didn't get injured. That paved the way for Nikola Jokic to win MVP. At 7-1 odds, that's pretty good value. And then LeBron James and Kevin Durant, both at 12-1 odds. Let's say the Lakers come back, they're the number 1 seed, and by far and away they're the best team in the NBA. LeBron could win it, and then KD is always a walking bucket to win MVP.
How disrespectful are we being to Jokic? He's not even in the top 5.
I know.
He won it last year.
I just don't think he's going to win back-to-back.
Probably not, but man, that's pretty disappointing for him. Shout out your favorite player in the comments. Maybe it's one of those guys. Maybe it's someone else. Let us know who your favorite player in the NBA actually is right now. We'll go ahead and take a look at the title odds as well. This is the most recent odds here. You got to wonder if these Nets odds start to shift here, Chase, with the whole Kyrie Irving situation. You got the Lakers at plus 300 and then defending champs at plus 900.
If I had to put money on a team right now, I wouldn't put money on the Nets. First of all, there's not really good value, and we don't know how often Kyrie Irving is going to be available for Brooklyn because there's a chance that he doesn't play any of the home games in Brooklyn. Lakers at plus 300 at 3-1 odds. It's decent value. I'm kind of looking, if you want value, like true value, Bucks at 9-1 odds, Warriors at 11-1 odds. I really wouldn't take the Jazz. I think the Bucks and Warriors have the best odds on that list.
I think the best value play is the Bucks at plus. I mean, they won it last year.
Yeah.
I mean, they're at least in the mix, if nothing else. So, hey, NBA season just around the corner. Preseason continues to get underway as we get to see, kind of that first sniff of these 30 teams before basketball officially gets back on October 19th. I can't wait, and we'll continue to have you guys covered here at Chat Sports. It's youtube.com/ChatSportsTV. Myself, Chase Sr. will have you guys covered on all things NBA throughout the regular season. Once trade deadline almost gets here in March, that's when things really ramp up, and then, of course, the postseason and next offseason as well. It's youtube.com/ChatSportsTV.